Good evening, everybody. You're welcome on Just Avail Online TV. I'm your host, AbdulRazaq. Today, I have a big fish in the Kwara Governor's Circle. I have with me in the studio Mr. Fafoluyi Michael, popularly known as Solace, the SA New Media to the Kwara State Governor. He's also the director of the Buhari Media Organization, Kwara State Chapter. You're welcome on the show, Mr. Fafoluyi.
Good evening, Just Event Online and Management. Thank you for having me. I really appreciate you for giving me this time.
Oh, thank you very much, sir. Let's start with the burning issue on ground in Kwara State today. This issue of security, incident kidnapping that have been happening in recent times.
Yes, on the issue of security in Kwara, the Kwara State Governor, Madam AbdulRazaq, has taken the issue of security as one of the topmost priority of this administration, because no economy can strive in an environment when there's no proper and adequate security. And that's why regularly the governor has been having security meetings with the security chiefs in the state, the commissioner of police, the immigration officers, the civil defense, the DSS. They've been briefing him on the development, and the governor is also online and is seeing some of the agitation of youths in Kwara as regards the issue of some kidnappings that have happened. But I'm glad to tell you that everyone that has been alleged to have been kidnapped at one point or the other has today been released. That's thanks to the effort of the governor and the security chiefs and the local intelligence, which is the community. Because Kwara is one of the states that believes so much in the fourth tier of government, which is the traditional institution, which is very close to the people who work with them and with the native intelligence and the local intelligence, who are able to retrieve those who were kidnapped. And we promise Kwarans that our institution has been up to task when it comes to the issue of security, and we won't let you down. We assure you and we assure all citizens of Kwara to go about with their businesses without panic, without having fear. The governor is on his toes and is ready to secure the state and its entire community, be it indigent or non-indigent. In as much as you are in Kwara, you are in a safe place.
Well, thank you very much. Now that is a reactive approach. People were kidnapped and they've been released thanks to the efforts of the governor and the security apparatus. What about the issue of the influx of alleged killer Fulani X-men that are being chased out of a neighboring state in Kwara?
Yeah, I want to say that the issue of releasing of people that were kidnapped is not really a reactive approach, because if you look at the time when we read that they were kidnapped and now it's now up to 72 hours, that will tell you that no security is 100% perfect, but that means we have a template in place that works with locals to secure the community. And I'm promising you, on behalf of the governor, that such issues will be curtailed in Kwara. And to the issue of Fulani influx into the state, I want us to understand certain things, that the issue of peaceful coexistence goes beyond ethnicity. Whether we like it or not, we need to secure our people in Kwara, and we must not send the wrong signal that will make Kwarans outside the state that are living in the northern part of the state to also be frightened or to also be living in panic. Because one of the things I want you to understand very well is that the governor understands very well the issue of the Fulani, and is the chairman of the agriculture plan appointed by the president, and is working. He understands the importance of having a particular a secluded area for cows to be reared, so that they won't be eating farmers' crops. He understands the importance. Don't forget that from the history of the governor, from the background of the governor has also lived in the part of the north, the Kaduna. He has lived there when he was growing up, so he understands very well the Fulanis. He understands them very well, and is also is trying to manage the issue in such a way that the Fulani people, if you notice very well, anywhere you hear Ga, it's mostly where Fulanis are settled. And in Kwara, we have so many Ga. Yeah, Ga Kompi, Ga this, Ga that. Those are mostly where Fulanis are settled. And over time, before we start having issues in other states, Kwara has been a state where we have a cordial relationship with even non-Indians. As a matter of fact, one of the few appointments the governor has appointed is SA on nomadics. Because even before the issue of Fulani men started happening across the country, the governor has been someone that has a foresight. He appointed a SA on nomadic affairs, and the SA has been relating with the Fulanis in Kwara for a long time. And she has been meeting with them, and that's why even recently the governor visited the Fulani community in Songo, where he related with them. He has been moving up and down, telling them how to behave, how to live in harmony. And he has also been meeting with traditional leaders. And if you notice very well, Kwara is one of the few states in this country that has a good that the government has a good relationship with the traditional institution. It's one of the few states. Recently, some traditional leaders were upgraded. Some traditional leaders were personally visited by the governor, because we understand that any project we are doing in the community must have a public appeal. So we must have a way where the citizens can actually feel that this is their project and not our project. We are only in charge of the resources, but there is their project. And the issue of Fulani, I'm assuring Kwarans that the governor understands the situation of ground, and understand that the issue of the Fulani is a volatile issue that must be handled with a sense of consciousness. Because whether we like it or not, I went to camp at Camp Otiscom in Yobe, and there I was received by Kwarans who are in Yobe. So that's to tell you, and if you want to talk about Camp Otiscom in West Africa, that's where you have the highest rearing of cows in West Africa, and that's where we have Kwarans. So we are only attaching the issue of rearing of cows to only Fulani, but in Yobe I have Kwarans that are rearing cows there. So what we need to understand very well is we have to have mutual understanding and first of all see ourselves as Nigerians. Understand? We are Fulanis, Yorubas, Hausa, Igbo. It's not a product of choice, but a product of circumstance of birth. So we must see ourselves as first Nigerians, and we must relate to ourselves with mutual understanding and mutual concerns. We should understand very well that citizens should understand that politicians try to divide us across ethnic lines and tribal lines for their selfish gains. You understand? It is when they have a selfish purpose. And we should be careful, because as we approach 2023, we will start having some unnecessary propagandas towards dividing us for their gains. But we should understand that what should concern us is good governance, not about your tribe, not about your religion. Because when they want to divide us as Nigerians, they will start going to the issue of you are Fulani, you are Kwaran, you are Hausa, you are Igbo. No, this is time for us to come together and let us grow our one nation together. Understand? So the issue of Fulani is the issue that we have an essay specifically dedicated to that affair. And I'm telling you that the government is on so many social media platforms, and he's saying and is approaching the issue from the grassroots, which is meeting with the leaders of the Fulani community, leaders of the Hausa community. And I can tell you that during our campaign, very precisely around Songo, we had with the Fulanis were on ground to campaign for us. They even organized rally for us in Songo. So they are part of us. They have been living here for more than 30. Some of them are even married to some of our sisters here in Kwara. So they are Fulanis really, but they are married to some of us. So we must try and understand that we must manage ourselves. There's no perfect relationship, but we need to find a way of working things out. But I'm assuring farmers that the government is on top of it, and very soon we'll stop having the issue of Fulani cows eating our farmers' crops.
Oh, thank you very much. There's still on this security issue. I think some people will tell you that we shouldn't personalize it and place it on the Fulanis, because as everybody knows that an idol and his devil's workshop. This I mean, only the Fulanis are not only the Fulanis are committing crimes. There are people that hide under the caprices of the fact that the security apparatus are lagging behind in some places to perpetrate evils. So, what is the governor doing to make sure that we are not focusing too much on these so-called Fulani killers, and the security plan encompasses every evil perpetrators?
Thank you. You see, I think that was January. We have the former IG, Fafoluyi, and the former IG that we like to call about here in Kwara for the community policing interdiction program. You see, the government is one of the advocates of community policing. And I can tell you that Papa Atta is one of the few people or few persons that have served in this country, and I understand that community policing is a very fundamental part of security. Understand? We have been working towards having in place a solid community policing architecture in Kwara, whereby when something happens in real holiday, we have someone that we can call among the community police to ask what's happening, and within less than 24 hours they get it solved. So we have been working towards the issue of community police, and let me not deceive you. The governor is also trying as much as possible to make sure that there's a good relationship between the police, the GSS, and the vigilantes. Understand? The vigilantes, most of them, they go into the bushes. Understand? They go into the bushes to do one of the things. They are community hunters. So we are trying to have a relationship with everybody. See, the issue of security of a nation or a community or a state goes beyond the uniform men. It's a collaborative effort of both the uniform men and the civilians. And that's why there is a slogan that says police is your friend. But I'm also telling you that not only police is your friend, but in Kwara, all security personnel are your friends. Let us not see them because they are put on uniform. I don't see them as having a barrier between us and them. They are our brothers, they are our sisters, they are our family members.
I say, what I say is that this issue of police is your friend of your thing. I think we need to rejig a lot sector of our security architecture, because why is the police is your friend? I think it takes a level of maturity, exposure, and social stratification. Because an average Nigerian will tell you that police is not his own friend.
Yes, one of the things, one of the agencies that I commend the DG, the director of National Identity Agency in Kwara. He worked with us. I was a part of his team when doing the COVID-19 awareness. I was with him. We worked to grassroots. I can say that one of the problems that we need to solve in this nation is that we should not have parasites that hide. I'm calling on the DG of National Identity Agency to at least buckle up. There are some slogans that need to get to the grassroots. You understand? When you say police is your friend, you can look at the recent appointment of the president on Marwa. See how he has been able to change the face of NDLA. You understand? When the governor says change begins with you, there's an agency that is saddled with the responsibility of taking the message to the grassroots, which is National Identity Agency. Look at Kwara. The director of National Identity in Kwara has been on his toes. COVID-19, issue of security, is always there. That's why we need to have that across the complete breadth of this nation. So that's that. We need to stop having parasites that are just there because I'm DG. No, we have to make sure the message of the president, that's the president that means well for this country, gets to the grassroots. Understand? We appreciate the director of NOA in Kwara because most of the messages of the governor as regards security has been getting to the grassroots. He has been coordinating so well the local governments and edges, their offices there, and he has helped us. In fact, there are some things information that has given us on some 8 communities in Kwara North that we went to some communities very close to Benin Republic during the campaign. But there are some communities that we could not get to during the campaign. But this NOA has helped us that we need balls to be in those places too. And therefore, so we need to have a synergy within all parastatals of the federal government and the state government. There must be synergy. You understand? The issue of security, police is your friend, goes beyond lip service. It needs to be recorded on TV. It needs to be recorded. They are doing a lot.
And what's up? You said you did think it goes beyond paying lip service. When we talk about this lip service, even if it's re-echoed on TV and radio every day, and it's not translating into actions, it's still a lip service. I think, don't you think we need to reorientate our police to?
Yes, on the issue of orientation of our police, I must tell you that before the president came on board, the issue of recruitment of Nigerian police force has been based on partisan level. Understand? Has been based on partisanship. That once you know somebody, that knows someone, you get it. But I think to the extent it has reduced under the president, Muhammadu Buhari. Because one thing I want to understand very well is that we should not see security parastatals as like the way they treat teachers before we came on board in Kwara, where they give an appointment to teachers based on your political affiliation. You should not turn security apparatus to that in Nigeria. So that I guess just carry under the president. So the orientation we are talking about must start from the recruitment process. Understand, from police college. Understand? It must start from. And I commend the PRO of the Nigerian police, Frank Kumba. I must commend him. While he was in Lagos, we knew what he did. Now he's in the Federal Republic of Nigeria, coordinating the PR of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Police of Nigeria. He has been doing tremendously well, reorienting and doing so many things. We must commend him. And I must say this, that the issue of security in Nigeria, understand, it has to also do with value system of the family. Understand? I could remember vividly, there was a day I went home to meet my dad. And we were talking, and he said something to me which I could not forget. He said, when they were growing up, and that's what he used to train us, that when you are going home and your father gives you biro to take to school, if you come back home with another biro, one biro, but it's not your own, you are in trouble. They see you are stealing. So it has to do with family values. Whether we like it or not, majority of our parents need to understand that we need to start paying attention to our family. It's not everything about work. Some parents don't even see their children for a week. They only see their children during public holiday, and it's affecting the family system. That child that you have not shown affection to when he was growing up, when that one becomes a police officer, that's why you see some of them to be harassing youths. Because he also lacked the affection of the parent when he was growing up, so he does not know how to deal with youths. Understand? So it has to be a value system, and I'm saying it with so much emphasis that the effort of the president to rejig the security apparatus by appointing chief of staff. We understand that the tenure of the IG has expired, but extended by the president. We understand it's because there are some programs and plans that the president have in place that the IG needs to complete, because we have a problem in this country that we need to stop. And the governor of Kwara is really trying on that. When a new person comes to the end of the affair, he abandons the policy of the old. Even when the new government comes on, they abandon the project of the old. But that's changing in Kwara, and it has also been gradually changing in the security apparatus. Because the issue of community policing that the IG Adamu is bringing on board was first of all launched during the days of Fafoluyi. Understand? But when the IG that came after Fafoluyi, they abandoned it. But after years, they're coming back to it. So it's something we must have to do with our value system. So the fact that someone is a governor and is doing something, and if people say we don't want the person again, does not mean you should allow the taxpayers' money that's invested in the project to fade away.
Well, thank you very much. As much as I will agree with you on this issue of these family values, the way you treat, the way you bring up your children, that's what you bring to the society. Because I have a typical example of a man like Adolf Hitler. Adolf Hitler actually lacked parental care, and then the whole world had to pay that because he actually spearheaded the Second World War. But one thing that I think we should do is that family value and social value should be translated into our governance system. Because recently we have a statement that was credited to Lieutenant AbdulRazaq that said that he got his position through the personal relationship between President Muhammadu Buhari and his own father, and then immediately after his resignation, he has been nominated as a non-career ambassador. Would you say that a position as huge and then as challenging in Nigeria of today as the one we had when President Muhammadu Buhari came on board, would that have been a gift? And then somebody that is there is saying that that's a compensation. Would you think we are actually walking the talk? We are actually changing the phrases we wanted to change?
I want to understand something very well that challenging in this country. Understand? The same story. People will see different headlines. You understand? It's really challenging. And on that note, I must commend Just Event on that note, because it's one of the few online platforms in this state that has stayed out of partisan politics. Because I must commend Just Event Online for that, and I must say that some of these our publishers need to learn one or two things from Just Event Online, because they've been doing so well in that aspect. Because you see a story, the same interview, and so you see a news platform infusing their own narrative, their own imagination into the story and pitch another headline. You understand? You see, the journalism profession, even some of us that are going for the refresher course in journalism now, we understand that the schools have introduced developmental journalism. What developmental journalism is that you don't report because you want to defame your fellow human being. You report because you want your nation to grow. Let's compare the issue of NSAS. The way CNN handle the issue of NSAS in Nigeria and where they handle capital invasion in US. You will see patriotism at play. They know how to tell us that we keep at it unseen human beings. But when their own security apparatus was seen live to have shot a civilian, they covered that part. You don't see it on any platform. You understand? Because they understand that any little thing can make the nation explode. You understand? And Nigerians, as Nigerians, must understand certain things. That whether we like it or not, even if you have green passports, there's no place like home. Even if you go to another country and you give a green passport to be a citizen of that state, you are still a second-class citizen. You understand? There's no place like home. You cannot afford to burn down the nation. Like what you are saying now, I can tell you categorically that the brother that I know, and I told you I was in camp in Potiskum, and I was able to meet some of the service chiefs. Some of them were even trained by Buratai. And I can tell you that Buratai is a very good communicator, and he would not have said that he got the appointment through the president back in he would not have said that. But I understand, I told you that the journalism profession is undergoing a very turbulent season. And I can say it categorically that some of our fathers that have retired in the journalism profession needs to start organizing the orientation for the profession, because we cannot afford to have the profession die. Understand? We need to have orientation for journalism. So journalism is beyond bragging, and it's beyond force to break a news. Understand? Journalism is beyond that. Journalism, it has its own guiding principle. Understand? A good communicator will understand when a news platform is being sentimental. Understand? And we are going to a place whereby the whole world is now getting to become social media lawyers, social media doctors. Understand? Understand? We are going through a tough time in the world, and it has also been proven that even with smartphone does not mean a individual is smart. Understand? We are going through a turbulent time, and I can tell you categorically that the president is trying. Understand? The president, if you look at the percentage of appointment the president has appointed, he has appointed more southerner than northerner. But you know one thing, the paid, I call them the business journalists. What they do is that when they pay them to make sure they defame a person, that's their own job. It's common. Even in your locality, you can check out. There's some news platform that if you go to their news platform, you will never see any news positive about certain individuals. It's always negative. I now ask you, even when Abacha was alive, there's some policy of Abacha that was right. Understand? There was some policy of Abacha that was right. No matter how worse a person is, there are certain things he will do right. Understand? One of the things that the devil is doing right for human beings, that when he tempts us and we pass temptation, in the realm of faith we improve. So people see temptation of the devil as bad. No, when he tempts you, and God has said he will not give you temptation that is beyond your power. Understand? And I am sure that God will not give the journalism profession the temptation that is beyond our power. The journalism profession will overcome. We will overcome. And by God's grace, the spirit of patriotism that have departed the hearts of several young ones will return. And we begin to see that there's no place like home.
Oh, thank you very much, sir. Let me take you that, and we will leave this issue of security. You said that normally there's not even Hitler. It's very hard for you to find somebody bearing Hitler in Germany, but there was some part of his policies that were right. And you talked about Abacha. The most things, as a layman, you only hear bad things about Abacha. And then even this, in our immediate past President Goodluck Jonathan, during the 2014-2015 days, his image was actually dragged in the mud. And that was journalism then. That's the same journalism we have. Now you said that there's no how bad somebody can be. There will always be something good, even though there's one thing good about it. And then I want to say that about your government. The 16 years, when the narrative from your government is the past government was a waste, 16 years of waste, 16 years of mismanagement and everything. I think before we should, why isn't your government walking the talk?
On the issue of what?
Continuity.
Thank you. You see, 16 years of the last administration is not something that our own government said they wish to. It is the community, it is the Kwarans, citizens of Kwara that said we don't want, never again. And what are they saying never again? You see, in Kwara, it is the same resources that was not enough. They were saying it was not enough. It's still what we are using today.
All right, thank you very much. Now, Essay, as a spokesperson to the governor, as Mr. Fafoluyi, you want to take this spokesperson away. 16 years, or let's take it from the community. Let's take it to you and I now. Was the 16 years glorious or a waste?
It was a never again.
It was a never again. All right, thank you very much. Now, the next thing is the issue of superb teachers. There have been updates and all that, but the thing is this. The superb is under the caprices of the local government chairman, legally should be under the caprices of the local government administration, then let me say chairman. And this thing has been done, advertisement have been made, people have registered, but the thing is that who is handling the superb part of the recruitment? Because we know TESCOM is under the whims and caprices of the state, but now the superb will be paid through the local government allocations, through the local government process. So who is handling the recruitment on behalf of the local government?
See, one of the things that a lot of people don't get right is that the chairman, the vice chairman, the governor, the deputy governor, the speaker, they are all political office holders. But there's something with constitution, which are the ministry, and the civil servant run the government. Because they are the head of the ministry. The PAMSEC is civil servants. Understand? The PAMSEC, let me even say this so I can understand very well. Now we don't have commissioners in Kwara, but work is still going on. Understand? Because the commissioner is playing the supervisory role, just like the eye of the governor in the ministry. You get me? It's playing the eyes of the governor in the ministry. But the governor has a blueprint and policy that he campaigns with. Understand? So any commissioner in the ministry is only acting out the vision and the mission of the governor, not their own personal self.
Essay, I think we should let's break it down. What I'm saying is the superb.
That's where I'm going. I'm coming from the issue of institution to the issue of superb.
All right.
So we can have a good understanding of the unnecessary noise that people are just making, because there's institution in place. And one of the things that this administration has done is that we came on board meeting a situation whereby individuals are stronger than institution. But under the administration of AbdulRazaq, we have institutions stronger than the individuals. What am I saying? When we came on board, at least some of us had heard it on radio when some of the local government chairmen went on radio and said it, that it's true that they collected loan. You understand? Illegal loans on behalf of the local government. They confessed. You understand? When they confess and you understand. And I want you to understand very well that in every local government, you have DPMs, you have the treasurers, you have the supervisors. You understand? You have some of these appointees. Those are people, they are not political appointees. They are civil servants. You understand? They are civil servants. Now, when you have local government, under local government, we have SUBEB. SUBEB has a board playing supervisory role over the activities. Understand? Now, every SUBEB teacher is placed under local government. Understand? If you are recruited from ASA, your payroll is under ASA local government. The only difference that will happen is that if before they employed you ASA was paying 1 naira as salary, because you are there, it might increase to 2 naira. Understand? Treasurers and DPM of local government still operate the local government. Understand? They still operate the local government.
It is constitutional that at any point in time, the people that will be at the helms of affairs of local government should be elected officials. Those are elected by the people.
Yes, and it's also constitutional that anybody found wanting can be suspended.
Anybody found, Mr. Solace, anybody found wanting has been suspended, and they are now, they have gone through, their tenure has expired.
Let's not forget that when someone is suspended does not mean it's not the chairman.
What I'm saying is this:
it's not just
they have gone through their tenure.
Yes.
Their tenure expired in November 28th, if I'm not mistaken. Yes. And then there has been a vacuum in them. We're not talking about suspension this time around. We're talking about a vacuum that there's no elected chairman or chairperson.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm telling you, that in there's no administration or no government that we have vacuum.
All right. But what I'm saying is, I understand this issue of institution, but are we not breaking the constitutional law that says that it's a must for us to have an election? I understand that.
Let me shed more light on what you're saying.
All right.
The only thing that not having chairman in local government will not make people do is approving contract of certain amount in local government. But payment of salaries, even the salary of the chairman, is done by treasurer and DPMs.
But what I'm saying is this: are you saying that it's not a bad thing as we are not having local government chairman?
It's not. What is bad about not having local government chairman as of now? When there's a court process ongoing. Because the process that will bet the local government chairman, you understand, is undergoing judicial scrutiny. Kwasec are to conduct election for local government chairman. But
there was the last judgment that was given that these people have the prerogative to conduct local government elections.
But are you also aware that we don't only have, you have like 3 hierarchy of courts in Nigeria?
Yes, I understand, but so we have been to Akure, the National Industrial Court in Akure, that has the jurisdiction to judge on the cases.
Let me clarify certain things for you. We have hierarchies of courts. Understand? We have hierarchy of courts. When a court passes a verdict, understand? There's what we call appeal. Look at the case of Governor Wike of Rivers State. He lost at the tribunal. He lost at the Court of Appeal, but he won at Supreme Court. You understand? There's a legal process, there's a court process ongoing. Understand? The fact that a lower court gives a judgment does not mean the appeal will not stand. Appeal will make the judgment to go back.
Do we have an appeal?
Yes, there's a case in court.
But what I'm saying is this: we have a judgment already.
Yes.
Okay. Let me say this local government chairman are not there, and then why don't the governor just appoint a sort of TIC?
See, one of the things that you understand about a governor that you don't, I think I would like to shed more light. The governor is a son of one of the foremost senior advocates in this country. You understand? And it will be an aberration for the son of one of the foremost legal luminary in this country to carry out a legal process. Understand? Well, it is common for people to just share opinion. But
that's exactly where I'm going.
But it is normal for people to share opinion on radio, on TV, but the constitution, any advice not consistent with the constitution remains null and void. Right. If you are saying the government should appoint TIC, are we saying the government is looking at it? Are we saying it's not looking at it? The legality of all processes will be determined shortly. Understand? The governor is not a man that operates under the platform of legality. As a matter of fact, in 2011, when the governor was campaigning under CPC, he is one of the advocates of local government autonomy. Understand? If I'm telling you the mind of the governor wishes to conduct local government election. But it is wrong for you to conduct local election when you know that the people in charge of local government are card carrying member of political parties. Understand? It is not going to be fair.
What I'm saying, okay, let's look at it from this angle. Why don't the governor just, for the sake of the people, for the sake of the constitution, the constitution that is supreme, allow these people to conduct the election? Whether we like it or not, the money will be released by the governor. Okay. The security apparatus will be supervised by the governor because he's the chief security officer of the state.
I have told you something.
All right.
Now, when we came on board, Otoge was a very grassroots-driven agenda. Understand? And you should understand. One thing I want to understand very well is democracy is driven on the ways of politics. Understand? Democracy is driven on the wheels of politics. If you don't get it right, ideology-wise, the result will be very counterproductive. Are
you saying that the ideology of the governor is, does not go against the vacuum happening in the local government sector?
I said in 2011 when the governor was campaigning, he was the one of the lead advocate of.
And now the governor has become the governor of the state in 2019, and we are having a sort of illegality going on.
It's not illegality.
Yeah, whether we like it or not. No, sir. Listen, when we go to when the court is done, when the court process is done, whether we like it or not, is it that the Kwara state government wins? Is that the Kwara state government wins or the Kwara state wins? Please let me calm down. I
know I said something. Okay. Any advice not consistent with the provision of the constitution is null and void.
What I'm saying is this.
And governance and democracy does not go on the altar of morality or sentiment.
This is not about morality. This is not about morality. What I'm saying in essence is that these people have been taken to court.
If I'm going to ask a question for anybody, I will say, as you are now, assuming you are bearing Solace, can you allow somebody who you know very well that is not a biological son of your father to determine how you share your property? You can't. No. Now, the issue of Kwasek is a very fundamental issue. Kwasek are supposed to be neutral umpires. Understand? See, Kwarans are very intelligent people. They understand that the government they have want to conduct election. But how would the government conduct election when people that are in Kwasek are carrying member of the opposition party? Don't forget that during one of the things that made Otoge Rural higher was because the election of 2017 election was not free and fair. If you notice, it was not free and fair. In fact, there was an election in Offa that the person that won, they had to compensate the person later with commissioner for them to have their way. So the government does not want to induce anybody to go and do the Ajigagbaism.
Sir, what I'm saying, okay, let me say this. What I'm saying is, this is a court process. Yes. Nobody can.
And your process affects all other processes.
Your lawyer will always tell you will win. When your lawyer tells you will win, the opposition, the person on the other side.
Don't forget that it's Kwara that's in court. Sir, it's not one person. It's Kwara that's in court.
No, I understand. Your lawyer would Kwara will be addressed as one person because even if Kwara wins, Kwara state government has won. If it's otherwise, then the court will say the otherwise goes to the Kwara state government. And then what I'm saying is this: what if it swings to the unexpected side? Then we have a vacuum. This court process can take as long as 6 months. Then we have a vacuum of 6 months in the local government.
You also forgotten that the Kwasek board has an expiry date.
Yes, I understand. So some people will tell you that the governor is playing an hide and seek and a delay taxes kind of thing.
I've told you something that you don't understand. Right. That the law, the constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria is binding on everybody. And the constitution is one thing that it does not even give you reason for you to say you have an idea.
Okay, sir. Okay, the
constitution of Nigeria says. We
are running out of time.
The constitution of Nigeria is explicit enough. It says that it's a line in the constitution. Any advice not consistent with the constitution is null and void. And once a court process is ongoing, understand? Ongoing, any step taken outside the court process is null and void.
Okay, sir. What I'm saying.
So for now, the governor, I'm telling you that the governor wishes to conduct election, but there's a case in court.
Okay, that's the case in court. I understand.
And we hope that the court is now for us to, because the lawyer in court, the state government lawyer in court, is seeking for speedy trial.
Okay.
But don't forget that these people, they are one of the people that I can call the Maradona of the judicial Maradonas. Look at the case of Iliaribu. They try to change their lawyers. They try to change their witness. They like to delay process.
Okay.
The governor wants the speedy trial, but these people sometimes you go to court, their lawyer will not be in court. But I'm telling you that this governor that campaigned on the altar until today, as I'm telling you, Kwara is value compliance, which means that any amount of money that has been going to the account of the local government, aside for the fact that they pay my daughter are paying their salary, the remaining money that is in their account, it may be 1 naira, it may be 2 naira, still in that account. Anytime the court decides and there's a judgment and there's an election, or there's an committee, or there's an administration put in place in local government, they will still meet their money. But the first time in this show of Kwara in a long while, where a governor will be a governor and will not be touching local government fund, we should give kudos to the governor for that. Sir,
let me tell you that, and then some people will tell you that if the governor is not touching the local government fund, then why are we still battling this issue of FYB for everybody to see everything clear, crystal clear?
The FYB, like everybody knows, that the governor has sent it to the House of Assembly, and you should notice very well that I am SA new media to the governor, and I have a limitation to speak for the House of Assembly. The House of Assembly has their own rules. Understand? Let's not preempt their decision.
What I'm saying is, in legislative initiatives, there are filibusters, there are lobbying. As the governor at the time lobbied the House to fasten decision.
Let me tell you something that one of the things that we should try not to encourage is executive inducing the parliament. It's a very bad precedent that we've set up to get to. Understand? And you should notice very well, there's a bill in the front of National Assembly now called PIB. You understand? The PIB bill has been there for how many years now?
For almost 20 years.
And they have been doing what? They have been trying to study that to make sure it is passed. Let me tell you something. By the time that bill is passed, people will forget the years that the bill has been going through process. What they will remember is that the bill was actually signed. So I would just advise us that the Kwara Assembly, there are people that we should commend. At least recently, they charge the government executive because we don't induce their decision. They charge the executive to make sure contractors go back to sites and like that. On the FYB, I want to put it as the bill has been sent to the Assembly, and we hope that Assembly will address it.
I will say that it's this as much as you want to avoid, everybody will want to avoid this the issue of an executive inducing a legislature. But I will give kudos to the governor of the government of AbdulRazaq, being the only governor that has more in his own House of Assembly than even the members of House of Assembly. Some people will tell you that these members have been like a basicer. The government can just come, they call them together, please, I need this bill. Because we are almost, what is changed in the bill is just fine and time frame.
See, one thing.
And the bill has not even been discussed.
Let me. I don't want to talk much about the bill, but I want you to just understand certain things that democracy, politics drive democracy. Understand? And that Assembly is a house of more than 20 persons. Understand? And they said 2 good eggs are better than 1. The government that sends the bill to that Assembly may not understand certain lines of the bills that needs to also have certain inputs. Understand? When Yoruba will say, Ajo Lumangu, the governor has put his own innovation into the bill to make it spiced up. He sent it to that Assembly. Who knows if that Assembly is trying to make the bill more better?
But we have not heard of any. So
that's why MD needs to speak on that. So, but as far as you are concerned,
I don't want you to reply to this, but this issue of I don't want you to. You don't speak for the house. You don't speak for the legislative house.
I want you to.
You don't speak.
I want to say something.
All right.
On the FYI bill that you are talking about, it's in front of the Governor Assembly. You know, it will be
It
unfair.
has been there for over a year.
It will be unfair for me to sit down and you trying to, talk down the bill in front of the Assembly. So I want us to, as a matter of favor, just let us stay out of the issue of FYI.
So that's what I'm saying. When they will come and defend themselves.
So let us just stay out of it.
Alright, I hope they will come and defend themselves because we are making contact. Alright, thank you very much. Now let's go to this. This relates to the House of Assembly itself. This issue of 35 billion. It has been generating a lot of things. Can you give us a background knowledge on this 35 billion naira issue?
Yes, that 35 billion naira bond.
Mr. Solace, please. Mr. Solace, please. We are running out of time and there are comments there, so please make it.
That 35 billion naira bond has exposed certain individuals, the knowledge of their the understanding of government they have. That has helped Kwarans a lot to let us understand that. So other individuals that we do respect, former aspirants that we do respect from the opposition party, are not as intelligent as we presume them to be. The bill has gone through certain processes, from State Level Council approval to House of Assembly deliberation to House of Assembly approval. And what they don't understand about the bill is that when the bill gets to the capital market, we go there with a 5 billion, we might not even get up to 5 billion. It depends on what is available in the capital market. Understand? We need to understand anything that there's time for governance and time for politics. We should wait till 2022 for this castigation. I want to also this budget, this bond, we have some project we want to execute it. There's a 6 kilometer road called Waterfalls. That road is 6 kilometers. We look at the multiplier effect you have on our economy. The road is part of what we want the bond to do. We have Ilesha Baruba and I told you something, that there's a policy that is aborted by this government, that if the administration started the project, even if they don't complete it, once it's the money of the state, we must complete and make sure it works for Kwarans. Understand? Now we are planning to complete Ilesha Baruba campus and also campus. We are not stopping there. The governor is also, I'm sure you are aware that we are currently building Innovation Hub. And from May 29, 2019, till today that I'm talking about, until that bond we get 1 kobo of it, the governor can still be said that he has not gotten any loan. And yet, this, see, when you want to look at a governor that will do well with bond, you have to look at their past antecedents. Despite the issue of COVID-19 in this state, in the world generally, the governor was able to purchase 10 ventilators without collecting loan. The governor was able to abort the issue of getting salary without collecting loan. The governor was able to pay 1.2 billion all college of education staffs without collecting loan. The governor was able to revive more than 10 waterworks without collecting loan. The governor was able to start the process of building innovation and virtual center without collecting loan. But the governor was now in Kwara today. Kwara is going to be medical hub in North Central. We are building the biggest ICU center in North Central without collecting loan. The governor that has renovated more than 20 hospitals without collecting loan. The same governor that has revived oxygen plant built by the late Governor Lawal without collecting loan. That same governor that has renovated more than 30 schools without collecting loan. The same governor that has renovated more than 100 roads, constructed and renovated more than 100 roads without collecting loan. My brother, the governor that without collecting loan has connected more than over 40 communities to national grid without collecting loan. The same governor that without collecting loan, my brother, has connected more than 400 motorized boreholes and also built more than 40 boreholes in strategic locations in Kwara South and Kwara Central without collecting loan. The governor that is repairing Oro Grammar School, that has approved the reconstruction of their road, that is also planning to repair to rehabilitate Oro hospital without collecting loan. The governor that has repaired more than 4 schools, in Ofa without collecting loan. In OC, rehabilitated hospital in OC without collecting loan. All these things we have done without collecting loan, my brother. It is the same money that they said is not enough, that they could not do anything that we are doing. This same, there's a story that those events online published under their community on the Gerewu road. As I'm talking to you now, the Kwara chairman has gone there and they are about to start working there without collecting loan. Understand? The governor is, and the same governor without collecting loan, my brother, without collecting loan, has made sure that every 100 million goes to pension and gratuity payment without collecting loan. The same governor has purchased computer sets, ICU center, computer sets, so many computer sets, gadgets for civil servants, and trained them on how to use it without collecting loan. The same governor that has encouraged school of special needs, the governor has rehabilitated some blocks there and still doing more, and has also purchased over 5 million of learning aids to them, and also gave them solar power without collecting loan. That same governor that has done this, what I've counted that the governor has done is, I've not said half of what he has done without collecting loan. And now the government is now planning to collect 5 billion. Let me now tell you what they are scared of. They are not scared of the loan that the government wants to collect. They are just scared that if the government collect that loan, the man that has done enough without collecting loan will delete whatever they call their legacy of 16 years within a few days.
All right, thank you very much.
With infrastructure and development projects.
I think if we want to go back there, a little bit into the things you said. This has got to make sure that 100 million naira every month goes to national pension and gratuity. But when we scrutinize the budget in 2020, what was budgeted was something around 8 billion naira. In this year, what is budgeted is something around 9 billion naira. If we compare 100 million naira to 100 million naira monthly to by 12, that is 1.2 billion naira, and then compared to what is in the budget, 8 billion naira. That you see there is a inconsistency. Let me. Well, we are running out of time. There are questions you need to answer. I don't know if my producer will give me more time. But one other thing is this issue of. A lot of things, there are issues. I don't want to go deep, but some people have raised an alarm that first thing is that nobody who was meant to publicize it in the first place. That's number one. And then now some people have come out to say that the current budget is bearing about somewhere close to 35% of the budget goes into debt servicing. And if we go into such kind of bond, and we might be going through 55% by next in the subsequent years. And one other thing is that I can assure you, I follow Kwara politics to an extent. I'm a political economist to an extent, and I know that if Kwara goes into capital market for 35 billion naira bond, we will get it. But according to financial derivatives owned and controlled by Bismarck Rwani, Kwara states can survive even without allocation. Talking about what we have in our state. So I think shouldn't the governor drag it down? One thing I think is that I don't want to blame the governor for this. To an extent, I will place the blame on the House of Assembly because they are the one that have the moral right. It's not a constitutional issue. They have the moral right to.
It's not because you said like three.
Okay.
Let me start from the issue of the bond. You said when we go for the bond, we'll be going to 55, we'll be serving 55% or something. Let me now tell you something. Who collected the loan? Is it the governor?
Okay, now let me these people that just finish their own.
Even if we are going to talk about us servicing loan or servicing debt, it is not a duty of the opposition party who collected the loan to castigate us. No. Because we are servicing. I told you that the government has not collected any loan since you came on board. That means we are servicing the loan they collected, not our own loan. So let us be factual. Understand? We are servicing, and let us now see between 2019 and now, our loan, the way we service our loan has improved than when those collect loan were even in government. Now, is it because they collected loan and they squandered the money, like 21 billion for pensioners, which we don't have record for them paying the pension, but they collected the loan and we are servicing it today? Understand? Is it because they collected loan and they did not do anything? Should they now use their own character to judge us?
Sir,
that's one.
Let me
raise 4 points.
Okay.
That's one. Number two thing I want you to understand very well is, if they knew that we could survive without collecting loan, when they were in government, why can't they complete Lesha Baruba and Osi campus? That's true. Now, when they were not talking about, when we are talking about the governor collecting bond, let me tell you something. Bond is a process. Understand? Until the final process is done, which is self-approval, it is the House of Assembly that will not say yes. See, you can say you want to collect loan. If the House of Assembly said no, who is assuring you that what going to come and will get? Let me tell you, Kwara cannot collect loan as at 2020. You know why? We did not service our loan for years. We are in a black book. Not that one alone. Now let me now also tell you about the issue of the budget of 2020. At a point we reviewed the budget because of COVID-19.
And then we reviewed about 20% of the budget.
We reviewed the budget. And let me tell you something. Budget, it is not compulsory you spend the whole money you budgeted for. Because if revenue does not come in, you can budget, and if there is no revenue or income, you won't do anything. Because one thing I want to understand.
And if the budget was reduced by 20%,
yes,
then if that one, let's say, since it's not a statutory something that can be heard because we have people working, why that one can be that one if it's slashed by 50%? I have
told you that the governor has updated loan. But you have not asked me how the governor was able to run government with a lot of projects without letting loan.
Right.
See, when a governor is serious about governance, it cuts down the cost of governance. Do you know that the governor today has not collected salary? Even all his appointees, we only collect our salary, not attachment, no addition or subtraction. All those money the governor has saved, not purchasing car, has been converted into infrastructure development that you can see. And we focus on certain things that what the United Nations prioritizes: basic amenities, water, health, roads, education. And in Kwara today, when we came on board, all our education, they were all under lock and key. Health offer, the nurses here, some of their policies were not credited. Lafayette is only in North Central, one of the few, if not only, if I'm not mistaken, the only technical school that we have in North Central. All their certificates for the last 4 years was not accredited. But today now, the government has paid for accreditation of these courses. He has paid even there's the modern schools of higher education that have teachers there for more than 7 months they were whole salary. The government has accommodated them and started paying their salary now. See, what I want us to understand very well is that not every political party understands governance. Understand? Some people who are born, some people are born to be members of squandering community, where they just come under any money. Understand? But this government, I've told you, from May 29 today, we have not collected loan. So if anybody is telling us that we are servicing loan, ask them who collected the loan. Is that AbdulRazaq? Is it not their loan? Now ask them again, the loan they collected, where is the fruit of the loan? When you collected loan, you have a purpose.
Sir,
what's the fruit of the loan?
Okay, I want you to know that I'm on the side of Kwarans. I'm a Kwaran too. I know what it is. What
I'm not sending a message to them because they are watching us live.
The first governor to take bond in Kwara was Governor AbdulRazaq.
And what did he do with it?
He applied for 30 billion, and 17 billion was approved, and then I think that was what gave us Kwasu.
And don't forget there was a public hearing for it.
That was public hearing. According to my research, that was public hearing.
They canceled public hearing, they did to the public hearing.
No, that was AbdulRazaq. That was AbdulRazaq.
They can't defend it.
That was AbdulRazaq. I'm talking about 2009, not 2015.
Under the assisting years administration, we have 2 parliaments. We have the Kwara Assembly Parliament and the Yariko Parliament.
Okay.
So the Kwara Assembly Parliament does not approve anything, but the Yariko Parliament approves.
I'm talking about 2009. It took Bukola Saraki 9 years before he could go for bond. It took him 6 years.
So it can take for people 7 years when he was stand governor.
No. What I'm saying is, sir, please let me make my point. It took him 6 years before he could take one. He
didn't understand governance early enough.
All right, thank you very much. And then after taking the loan, that was what gave us Aviation College, the music center. In Kwara.
Do you have any of our members of the community that attended the Aviation College? You know how expensive it is?
And
there are some relevant projects that are not oriented to profit Kwarans.
Sir,
but we are changing the narrative now.
Sir, okay, I understand. What I'm saying is this Aviation College has...
I think you know that there's one bridge called Post Office Bridge. That bridge, Post Office Bridge, is cost billions. Now calculate the amount we have spent on roads and now compare with the underpass that has no diamond and the post office bridge. Now compare which one has the massive felt the impact.
Oh no, what I'm saying now, we're talking about 17 billion naira giving us diagnostic center, aviation college.
Please, that's what please notice what they produced, what they did down. So when we collect our own bond, let us now compare.
No, the thing is this. There was no public hearing. Some people are saying a lot of things are shrouded in mystery because I've checked the write-offs and then we have
no.
I mean entertainment finish. Please, sir, let me comment.
The write-off they are saying you are taking your write-off. You know when you are getting write-offs from people that this bond has exposed to, let us understand that they are normal regular aspirants that lack understanding of governance. So when they write article, let us get out of the article.
I'm talking about write-up from by the CPS. Where he took time to explain. So and then he gave us concise
things that we want to do
with the money. But in the course of giving the calculation, it occurred to me that even the 35 billion naira jumped into 40 billion.
Let me now tell you. I said something when I was talking. I said when you go to us and tell me that you want to go collect bond, you can go there with 40 billion and this is what you want to do.
No.
And they will cut it down.
Sir,
when they cut down, let me tell you the process. When they cut it, the one that already cut it down. Say we are doing 35 billion. Now when you go to capital markets,
I mean the House of Assembly has not come out to say that we were the entire 40 billion naira.
What you ask them? What's the local commentators who were not opportune to get into government because the Kwarans said not to get to them? What they wrote was what that's already responded to. Understand? What they wrote, what they responded to.
But there was an House of Assembly member that came out to say that 35 billion naira was taken to us and we approved this on that same day.
I want to ask you a question.
All right.
When you say you're a House of Assembly member, we all know that it's not by chance that not everybody can be honorable, but we are just compared to call everybody honorable. And sometimes some people spend more time on radio than in the floor of the house. So when they were discussing so much important issues, he was not there. You understand? For the fact that, let me tell you something about Parliament, how they operate, because you watch them very well. The House can be discussing the issue now, and when they discuss the issue, they can pause on the issue and say, okay, we'll come. But you by that time you might be saying you want to go to radio. When you have gone to radio, they might discuss another issue and say, hey, we are discussing this issue, but we pending. Let's now look at it. That time you will not be there. Right. So let us not base based on one person on radio. We have 24 Assembly members. Let us hear what they are going to say.
Thank you very much. My producer is giving me 5 minutes more. I think. Okay, let's go to comments. And then all the comments I've seen here, I think I want to beg my producer, we should not read anything here. We've trashed everything. But every comment I've come to Kofi Taufik, GC Butu. Thank you very much. He said so many illegalities. Being a son of his son doesn't make you immune to criminality. And things like that. Please, let's just. Mr. Solace, can you give us a more concise what was taken to the House of Assembly and what was approved? Was 40 billion naira taken there or 35 billion naira?
Look at the calculation that we brought out. We had was 40 billion naira there.
Yeah.
And it was well analyzed in that graphics. Yeah. Well analyzed. And I'm telling you that
some people let me talk about the analysis. Let me talk about the analysis. Some people let me talk about the analysis. We talk about 17 billion going into education and 10 billion, 7 billion going into agriculture. Well, that's I want you to wrap everything up.
How it became 5 billion.
I want you to wrap everything up. I want you to wrap everything up. We're running out of time. So we talk. Please let me give you this.
No, you've spoken about the issue of that.
All right.
Now we said state executive council approved at 5 billion. The graphic is also 40 billion. Now let us now ask them a question, which is going to they will ponder on as we leave the show. If the governor was projecting 40 billion, who now ratified 35 billion for the governor? That means there's a missing information there that shows that the governor is not the one-man show. But there are some people that are checkmating the governor.
Some people will tell you that. Some people will tell you that if you have seen everything crystal clear before the thing being taken to the House of Assembly, then we would have known what is happening.
I want to ask you a question.
And then that's another place where this issue of FOI bill comes in again. Then I think the government to send the government itself it comes in.
Let me ask you why it does not come in.
All right.
The governor, in his own uprightness, ensure that we implement social audits.
where anybody.
We cannot audit what is not done already.
Let me tell you. We have social audits.
All right.
We give you the documents of the project. Have it. Go and check what you have done there. And also they have been doing it fantastically well. They are even checking with contractors and telling them that this road that you did, you see, we take government has a balance of 6 million to collect here. They have been doing. So let me tell you something. One of the things that most of us don't understand is some people focus more on criticism than development. Understand? Look at what Just Event did on their publication. They went to a community where the road was bad. The community said they want government to come and address it, and immediately we went there. See, we should focus more on social auditing. You know why? See, in the entire world, criminalities cannot be protected if the citizen does not play their part. See, even if they sign any bill into law, there's always something the lawyers will tell you that to every rule there's an exception.
Thank you very much.
So let us all Kwarans, wherever you are, when there are people in your community, I will say to you, but because if they do a fake pro or shady job in your community, I don't raise alarm to call CSOs to come and help you look at it. We in government and you will suffer with, and the contractor will benefit from, because these contractors, most of them, we know them. You have to check with them to
all right, thank you very much. And then we'll draw the curtain on our show today. We have been having this discussion. My producer wants viewers to enjoy Mr. Solace more, and then he's giving me 5 minutes more. And this issue of FYB, I think he will have this FYB in place. You know, that's an exception. There are lawyers that have argued that this FYB it has been signed by the federal government. It can be domesticated like that. It operates in the nooks and crannies of the country. But at a later time, we came to realize that the governor is saying, no, we have not domesticated except those that domesticated it. And then I think if we have this thing in place, it will give us the CSO the opportunity to write the governor. We want to see the documents you take to the House of Assembly.
See, the governor has sent the bill to the assembly. Let the assembly do their role. The governor should not be encouraged to use the workings of the assembly. We must let the separation of power play its part.
Right.
Now, there's a governor that actually came out. The governor came out and said FYB is more sponsored like people that are no longer in power. In his state, say, in my own state, we don't want FYB. There's a governor that said that. The governor even said that he's a lawyer.
Sir.
So let me tell you something. In court, both the defense counsel and the other lawyer, they will both argue their cases.
Alright.
Understand? Now, everybody will argue our cases, but the paper and the piece in front of us assembly, which is the judge. So let them not be induced by our opinion, because they see what we are not seeing. And I'm very sure they will take that decision on the FYB.
Oh, sir, I want to agree with you about they see what they are not saying. We are in the media space. We are very close to the grassroots. We know what is happening more than they do. We have been telling them that this thing, even if we want to save the governor's head himself, the governor have come out to pronounce a social audit. And it's saving the government's cost, but it's somewhat stressful because you have to take every document, give it back, give it to them raw. But see, even social it has a limit.
You have to give it to them.
No, it has a limit. It has a time. It has everything. But this social audit. So
I don't want to speak for or against FYB. You know, I'm trying to limit. But I'm telling you that both FYB and social audit deals with documents.
You say, are you saying that social audit does what the FYB is doing?
As I'm talking to you now, I don't want to answer that question because I'll be inducing just for assembly decision. The bill is in front of them. So I'm talking about the social audits implemented by my principal. People are saying, see, when they say it in Yoruba, when a governor is a son of a legal luminary, respected one at that. Understand? The blood, we always flow through his veins. The governor has seen that. Even here to see, anytime they raise the argument, you have to come and check me. In the issue of Nigeria, go and look at it. The first government to set up a committee and say go and audit the local government funds. The first government to say go plan and do your work. The government to see this government is one government that you can call participatory governance. You know why? CSO are engaged in this government. They are doing social audit. Judges, EFCC institutions are engaged to make sure that when we leave office, they won't be writing letter to us that come and see us in our office and be saying you are sick. Understand? We want to be sure that when they invite us, we'll tell them that okay, this is our
let's talk about the post 35 billion naira issue.
Yes.
If let's say that we got half of what we will say we get half of.
Let me tell you, if we get one kobo, I'm assuring you that this government that you have will make use of the money to the extent that the Kwarans will even say, those who didn't give us the 35 billion,
I'm not talking about the implementation this time around. I'm talking about the post 35 billion. When we get the money, after getting the money, when we have executed the programs. I pray we get it.
I'm saying I'm saying amen.
Okay, I pray we get it.
Because I'm seeing the new Kwara.
I'm seeing the new Kwara. And then our state starts servicing debt with 55% of our budget.
Yes.
And then this thing has a lifespan of 15 years, which we outlive even the parliament, the government, everybody.
I want you to understand something that mathematics is one of the most difficult courses for some people when they were growing up. Understand? Somebody cannot do kind of critical and say we servicing debt with 55 billion. What mathematics is the person do? Do you calculate debt based on speculation? We are applying for 35 billion. This person I'm talking to you about said we are servicing with 35%. Abi, I want to ask this person, like the person that I got the article or the service article, when they were in government, did they report exact debt that the state owe? They didn't report. The handover note of the government that they gave to the governor, was not complete.
Sir, let me tell you that
the debt that we are servicing today, that they are saying that we are servicing, when they were coming on board, the head of service that is still there now, handed over to the governor. They ran away because they know that when we have to them on the account.
There's something we call DMO in Nigeria, the Department of Debt, Debt Management Office. They take care of debts, and then we have FYB in the federal level. If you are not getting it in the state, you can get it in the actual. Let me
tell you something. A governor that came on board on May 29. If you notice about what one thing about debt is that there are some debt that debt margin of you will start calculating maybe after a month you collected the debt, the loan. Understand? So those some loans are 3 months, 2 months that they collected. Even the money that they claim that we made on ground, we didn't meet the money. EFCC helped us to stop them from withdrawing that money. We have the records. See, this administration we started. This administration is you call a good job back at the day. We came on board. We saw nothing that we are growing.
Solace, I want to say a big thank you to you. I want to say a big thank you. Now, where we draw the curtain on our program today, we have been talking at length with Mr. Solace on the state of our state. Thank you so much for Mr. Solace. I hope we will continue the conversation later. Thank you more our listeners. Once again, AbdulRazaq, do I want to say bless. Thank you.